So I'm going to get started. Again, my name is Tammy Wilson. Please save my information in your phone. Have it over here. I'm the Ignite coordinator for Ignite. I make sure all the instructors, I gather up all the instructors, and I also do the accountability part in the meetings. So every morning that we meet, I'm going to ask you about your numbers. How are you doing on your phone calls? We're going to talk about our 10-4s. So, and this is Sarah. Sarah, she'll introduce herself. She's your instructor today. So if you have any questions about this particular class, she's also a coach in our office. So if you have any questions in regards to anything, you can always call her. But the 10-4s, Alex was here on Wednesday. What is one of the 10? What is one of the 4s?
You need to lead generate 10 individuals, meaning it's not just a hello, like you acquired their information being a name, some substantial contact info. Exactly.
So if I go up to a person at the produce section and I'm like, I'm a real estate agent here, and I hand them my card, is that a contact? Why is it not a contact?
Because you're receiving information.
Yeah, because what can happen to that card? You throw it away, it ends up on their shoe, like stuck to their foot, whatever, right? So you gather their information so the ball is in your court. Now, if you call them and they block you, then okay, you're done with that. But if you just hand them your card, the odds of them remembering you are going to be less than if you put them on some sort of campaign to keep in touch with them. We call them, there's a 33 touch, there's an 8x8, all that stuff you're going to learn throughout. So so he said the first, we call them 10-4s because there's 4 10s, okay? So the first one is contacts. You're going to get new, I'm writing kind of crooked, contacts daily. That's 10, okay? The second one is, what do we already have at our fingertips that has information in it?
Cell phone.
Cell phone. So what you do with your cell phone, mine's in my office. What you do with your cell phone is just go through all of your contacts. And Alex was asking about that just a few minutes ago. How do we eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time. The reason why we want you to add, proactive here, want you to add 10 contacts to database. And database is your command, KW command. There's 2 M's in command. Oops, okay. Now, when I say 10 contacts, can you hear me okay, Amanda?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so when you add 10 contacts to your database, these are people you already know. These are people in your phone. You're moving them from your phone to your KW command CRM, okay? And we do 10 of those a day. Can you do more than 10 a day on this? You do as many as you want, but we always want to break it down for you so you don't feel overwhelmed. I don't know, I think I have maybe 700 contacts in my phone. How many do you think you have, Sarah?
A lot more.
A lot more, okay? So Sarah's not gonna be stressing herself out and saying, oh, I'm gonna put all 2,000 in one day. She's gonna break it out, all right? And like you said, Alex, it's a great opportunity to call them. Let them know you're going into real estate. You're a real estate agent now. Updating your contacts. It's a real, I consider it a warm chat versus a completely cold produce section person chat. Okay. So you do that daily. And then you do note cards. The key, they're handwritten. People are saturated with emails. They get emails constantly. I get emails constantly, and they just delete them. But a handwritten note shows that you actually took the time to write it out, put their address on it, stamp it, take it to the mailbox. Now, during this class, we're going to do 10 of these a day, or for everyone we speak to. And we have their, that's where you get their mailing address, right? And even if they're like, you know, you're like, oh, I'd like to keep up with you. You know, I usually send out, you know, birthday cards or however you want to say it. Just try to get their mailing address. That's part of your contacts too. So we do handwritten note cards. We do 10 of those daily. Now, I was following up with someone I met at an open house. She told me that she was having back issues. She was really concerned that she might have to have surgery. So, you know, I'm sitting there listening to her talk, writing notes because I have Teflon brain. If I don't write it down, it's gone. So after we hung up the phone, I pulled out one of my cards. I said, it was great catching up with you. I hope your back issue doesn't lead to surgery. You know, just little, you know, you pick out things out of the conversation, write about it, send it, and it's like, wow, they remembered. Or you write your notes out, or your little notes. So when you call them in 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever your follow-up time is, you can go back to the notes and say, hey, how's your back? Or how's little Johnny's soccer season? How did you do? You know, whatever they're telling you in that conversation, man, Tammy really remembered our conversation. She cares. Because what is the saying, Sarah? Nobody, I always get it backwards. Nobody wants to work with you until they know you care. Nobody.
I know what you're talking about. When you could have said it if you hadn't asked me.
I know.
They don't until they know how much you care.
Right.
They don't care how much you care about it.
They don't
until
care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Thank you.
There it is. It's coming. It's coming. So yes, when they know how much you care, they are going to want to interact with you. All right. And then the fourth one are the previews, and that's what Alex was also asking about. We preview homes. We do those 10 weekly. So you've got 3 dailies and a weekly. And weekly is a 5-day week, not a 7-day. Now, could you do all 10 in one day easily? The answer is yes. Because you can choose a radius, like choose your own neighborhood. Choose a radius around your house. Pick 10 houses to go see. If you are not signed up on Supra yet, which raise your hand if you've done all that with Supra, they've gone to Metro Text. I don't know if they're open yet. Have they reopened? They have? Okay. So if you have your Supra key, and that way you can go into these houses, pick houses that are vacant because you're previewing the house and you don't want to displace owners for just a preview. But what you're going to look for when you go to that preview is you're going to look at curb appeal. You're going to look at the sign. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to a listing and the sign's been crooked or laying on the ground or rusty. You know, they get rusty because they're out in the weather all the time. You know, try to update your stash every now and then. And look at the condition of the house. And then the most important is the price. All right, so you can look at the price. Next Wednesday will be John Patterson's class. and he teaches you how to do comps for the area. He's very detailed, so you're going to feel like you're getting information from a water hose, just okay. Fire hose. I say that all the time, water hose. People are like, what's that? It's no big deal. But no, a fire hose. And so this week, look at the price. If you want to try to do comps, that's fine. We can help you with that. But my main focus will be after John's class, so you have an idea. Raise your hand if you have access to MLS. To Matrix, yeah, to Netris. It's called Matrix, Netris, MLS. Those are all the same things, where you can look up houses. Right.
Yeah, y'all want to join the board as quickly as possible because you can't do business till you do.
Right. So make that one of your checklist things is to call Metro Tex in Grapevine, because that's who we are associated with. Get on their schedule to get set up for your super key and all of that. All right. And right after you get done with class, I think you have up to 60 days to take their training class, which is in Dallas. So you have 60 days, and they'll talk to you about that. They'll tell you about all that. All right, so you have your list there, Alex, of what we're looking for? All right. Any questions about the 10-4s? So somebody, if you're walking through the office and Sarah stops you and says, how are you doing on your 10-4s? Are you going to look at her like, I don't know what you're talking about? No, because Tammy's mentioned 10-4s every single day of Ignite, right? All right, now your packet is and a lot of it, learning center etiquette, arrive early, be on time, turn off your cell phones, at least the volume of it, you can have it in case you have an emergency phone call, but just be respectful of that. Avoid side conversations. In the first 30 minutes, I come in at 9 to 9:30. During that time, we're going to be going over our 10-4s. We're going to be doing script practice, and I'm going to be talking to you about different ways of lead generating, okay? So, and we're also going to be making some phone calls. Mainly we're going to be script practicing and working on our 10-4s, okay? Let's see, honor the scheduled breaks. I know sometimes when I teach the class, I just talk and I forget to give you a break. So sometimes you have to say, hey, I gotta go to the restroom. So laptop will be needed every class. This is important. I know it sounds weird, but it says adjust your attitude upon arrival. Come prepared to learn and share. Our presenters have committed to providing an exceptional learning experience for you, and their time is as precious as yours. Hi, welcome. Something we do a morning motivational every morning. It's a Zoom call. You're more than welcome to join that. It's on the calendar, on the training calendar. But we talked about indifference this morning, and I'm the one who brought the quote this morning. So it's good. I have to look it up now. I don't have it memorized. Shame on me. Anyway, it's just talking about how you can't, things can't go well if you're indifferent about it. You've got to be on point. You have to be ready, right? Kind of like, I'm going to have to go get it because it's a really good quote. And it's really not a quote. It's just a line that I felt was really important. But we were just talking about how indifference, when I was in college and they were teaching us how to interview with people, the first thing they told us to do is when you do a phone interview, what do? Do you call in your pajamas? You get dressed. You get up, you get dressed, you get ready for the day because you never know what that day is going to, what's going to happen during that day. So it's the same with Ignite. It's the same with your business. Get up, show up, and things will happen, right? So be prepared when you come to class. Are we excited about this? I'm excited for you. I really am. And it's Monday. We're back in the office. I feel so great about being here. You just don't know. I know Sarah's excited about it. But yeah, just come into class prepared. You do have homework each day. It's not difficult. Mainly, it's just getting your business up and running and prepared. All right. So you're going to learn a lot of stuff in this class. It's going to come fast and hard, but we are always here for you to answer questions. I told them while you were out, Sarah, that they can call you if they have any questions. You're also a coach, so you can help them in that regard if they want to join coaching, and she'll talk to you about that, I'm sure. So yes, we learned about our 10-4s. If you need a reminder, here is the reminder here of what the 10-4s are and what we're supposed to be doing daily. Our goal in the first 12 sessions, actually, if you can get it sooner, that's amazing. We want you to get an appointment with someone. We want you to get an appointment. And then if you get a listing or you get a buyer representation form signed, that's even better. But we want you to get an appointment. And in order to get appointments, we have to make phone calls. And we have to do our 10-4s. Okay? She's going to talk about the 6 personal perspectives, and being learning based is one of those. So definitely keep yourself learning constantly. Right? Never stop doing that. Here's one of your missions. This is an example of the first mission. Each day you're going to have missions to complete. Again, these are the things I was telling you about. And she's going to show, do you show them how to like find this? Because normally I do, but you have that pulled up and I don't want to mess anything
Yeah, if I
up.
can figure out how to get back to my other screen, yes,
Yeah,
I will.
it's okay.
I'm using someone else's computer today.
Right. But where you find this is at mykw.kw.com. And once you've onboarded, you should have access to that. Jennifer should get you on that. So is everyone in here is onboarded, correct? Okay, because I know Amanda said she's jumping in before she's still taking classes. And if you are still taking classes and not licensed yet, please, by all means, stay. But if you've onboarded, then you'll get access to the mykw.kw.com. And that's where you can find all this stuff. Okay? Now, the fun part. It's all fun. The My Tracker is also on mykw.kw.com. That's where you're going to track your numbers. You write in how many new contacts you have, and be honest. Be honest with yourself. You tell me your numbers. You could be like, I talked to 100 people and got 100 contacts. I'm not going to check you on that. It's integrity that you have for your own business. Because not doing it or lying about it is hurting who? Yeah, it doesn't hurt me. It doesn't hurt Sarah. It hurts you. And so don't do that to yourself. If you only called 2 people and got their contact information, you only got 2. All right, don't beat yourself up. Just try to reach your goals next time. Okay? So let's see. I think I have 2 missions in this packet on accident. Here is the lovely schedule. We have the schedule of the classes and when they are. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. The only time that we'll ever change a date from Monday, Wednesday, Friday is if there's a holiday mixed in there or something going on. All right. Like I said earlier, in order to be eligible for phone duty, one of the requirements is you have to finish 85% of Ignite, which means 10 of the 12 classes. So here you are in class 1. Yay, you got 1 down. All right. It should be on the back of the mission. Oh, maybe I didn't do front back. Okay. There's no calendar in there at all?
That's all right. It's in your book in session 1, and I'll point that out when we get there.
Okay, good. Thank you. Now, here is, you need to make copies of this. Everyone should have this tracking sheet. These are your contacts. print this out. This is a daily routine, daily thing that you're gonna do. Now, there's 20 slots here. You're supposed to get 10 a day. You can use this for 2 days in a row, or you can get 20 in a day, however you wanna do it. But this, you need to make copies of this so you can track. On the side over here, you've got your follow-up notes. So when you call them again, you have your little cheat sheet, all right? Any questions about that? You need to copy this every day. And here I put, you know, we use this as an example of how a real estate agent's day will go. You're gonna learn this, you're gonna hear a lot of bold laws here with Keller Williams, and one of them is if it's not on your schedule, it does not exist. How many times have we not used our calendar and we've forgotten to meet with somebody? I mean, even in our personal life, not just, you know, business. Yes, I've done it many times. I'll be like, oh, you know, and it's an hour later. Or they're calling me, where are you? And I'm like, oh, wow, because it wasn't on my calendar. I thought it was in this calendar. This calendar is not reliable. This calendar is, okay? I buy on Amazon what they call an appointment book. You know, when you go to the nail salon or the hair salon, they have an appointment book and it breaks it out. Mine is 7, 7:15, 7:30, 7:45, 8, you know, it breaks it down into 15-minute increments. I like to use that kind versus just a regular day planner, but you pick whatever comforts you and then stick to it and start filling it in. But this is just an, you know, an example of how the day should go. Morning is lead generation, afternoon is appointments, okay? And then on the very last page is my favorite. We don't like this word, do we? This word is a bad word. It's a 2-letter word, but it's really a 4-letter word, right? We don't like it. I don't like to be told no because, well, a lot of times people don't like to be told no because they take it personally. What's your name again? Would you like a marker? Okay. Would you like a marker? No. No? Would you like a marker? No, thank you. Now, she said yes. They said no. If I would have been like, no, nobody wants a marker. I'm just going to keep walking. Nobody really needs to write anything down. Then what has happened at that point? Get discouraged.
Shamika wanted it and she didn't know it was available.
She didn't know it was available, and I answered for her by not asking her in the first place, right? So don't answer for people. You never know. Now, she said no, and she said no, but that may be no right now. But hey, yeah, I may need a marker in 6 months. So don't, you know, when you don't ask the questions, and I always use this, write this down, because I have to remind myself of this every day. Failure is not being told no. We think it is, right? Oh my gosh, we failed. It's not being told no. Failure is never asking the question. Would you agree? Because if I just kept walking, I wouldn't have known that she needed the marker, or a piece of gum, or a new house in Beverly Hills, right? Just never know. And sometimes people are unassuming. You think, oh, well, so let's not judge. What is it, Sarah? Don't judge people's outsides, insides,
Don't
outsides.
compare your insides to somebody else's outside.
I'm gonna learn all these, but there's so many bold laws. It's like, whew, now when I need them, they come out really easily. But yes, so don't be afraid to ask a question, and this is where my sheet comes in. Because every time you ask a question and the answer is no, you're going, not any question, real estate question, obviously, you know, I'm looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. You're gonna mark no. There are 40 no's on this sheet. The reason why we want to get no's is because, Alex,
Well,
why do we want to get no's?
because through the nose you get your yeses.
Yes, absolutely. I got 2 no's, right? And I got 1 yes. So I'd be like, no, no, right? So your goal each week, you're going to print this out. Your goal each week is to get 40 no's. And you're going to turn this into me next Monday. If you don't get all 40 no's, again, be honest, right? But work on getting those no's, because when you get through the no's, you're going to find the yeses. All right? Any questions about this form and how simple pimple it is? All right. Now, I apologize. I've been a horrible instructor this morning. I did not go around the room and get your names. So I'm like, you there, you there, you there, you know. So I want you all, and I don't know how much time I have, probably another 5 minutes. I want you all to introduce yourselves, and then how long you've been in real estate, why, you know, your goal in real estate, and what you did formally. I'll start with you.
My name is Shamaka. I passed my test at the end of January. Before this, I was in the health field. And what was the other question that I need to answer?
Your goal.
My goal? Oh, okay. My goal is to just try to be the best agent that I could be and try to learn and obtain everything that I need to know to get out here and get started as soon as possible.
Nice. Next.
My name is Isania. I did pass my test around the middle of March.
Oh, nice.
Before I used to be like manager, a property manager for mobile home parks. So I do have a little bit of experience on that, but that's just a different aspect in real estate. My goal is to work with my husband. My husband's a builder.
Oh,
So,
nice.
Our plan is for him to build the homes and move in. So,
Yes, that's awesome. That's a good foot in the door right there.
thank you.
Next.
My name is Andrea Mans. I've been licensed for 2 years. I came out of the service industry, so fine dining, bartending, stuff like that.
Yeah.
My ultimate goal in real estate is to ultimately become an investor and developer.
Nice. It's a good goal. Alex.
Hi everyone, my name is Alex. I've been doing home remodeling and flipping with a buddy of mine for the last year. We moved here from Canada, live here now, and the real estate was just a natural progression, so I can make more money, made a plan, and now I'm realizing I should have done this like 10 years ago.
Isn't that funny how we do that?
Yeah.
In my, when I was in real estate school, there was a girl sitting next to me, and she was 18. And I was like, I'm a lot older than 18, so I should have done that. You know what I mean? Like, she's actually on her path, a good path. So, okay, next.
My name is Darlene Allen. I am newly licensed as of maybe 8 days ago,
Awesome.
and I'm a flight attendant. And I started classes probably maybe a year ago. So I kind of played around with the classes, and of course with the pandemic, I was like, hey, I should probably complete.
Yeah.
I should probably go test out.
Yeah.
So I tested out obviously a couple days ago, and a couple of flight attendants are Keller Williams agents, and so here I am.
Well, welcome aboard.
My name is Heath Thompson. I've been a realtor for a year now. With this is my first Ignite class.
Nice. Yeah.
As of last Wednesday, I was in the railroad business, but that's changed. So now I'm full-time real estate agent, and hopefully, this is what I've always wanted to do. So hopefully, today turn out to be a good thing.
Now, what railroad did you work?
BNSF.
You know, I have a recruit, he's gonna be meeting today at 1, and he worked at BNSF as well, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, his name is Shane Hollingsworth. So yeah, he's taking classes online right now to get licensed, so hopefully he'll be joining us soon.
Yeah, but I'm also on the investor side. I have some rental properties and I would like to get more.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we are so excited to have you all here. Welcome to Keller Williams. And again, Tammy Wilson, Ignite Coordinator. I will see you every morning to greet you and get your numbers and get you started. And without further ado, the wonderful Sarah O'Cana will be teaching your first class.
Thanks, Tammy. So we also have Amanda Tucker and Danielle Ortiz online.
Oh, yeah.
Can you guys hear us okay?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, good.
Except for when you walk to the far side of the class, so it's my left, and you speak that direction, I can hear, but it's not very clear.
Okay, we'll try to
But
keep that in mind.
If
Thank
you
you.
stay where you are, I can hear you great.
Awesome. So my name is Sarah O'Cana, and I have been licensed since 2003 and joined Keller Williams in 2007. I was with a previous broker before. In 2014, I was asked to launch the coaching program. So while I still have an active license, my full-time job is to run the coaching program and help you guys get into production. And so when you, now that we are back in the office, be sure and look at the calendar and come to coaching orientation so you can hear more about what the coaching program has to offer and decide if that's what you want to be a part of. Our coaching team last year sold 251 homes, and we produced in gross commission income $1.5 million. And so our goal is to partner with you to find out what your goal is in real estate and then to get you there as quickly as possible. We don't get paid until you get paid, and we'll explain all of that more in coaching orientation, but that's why we truly are a partner, because most coaching programs you pay upfront whether you're producing or not, and that's not the way it works with us. We just want to partner with you and get you into business as quickly as possible. So, what do you think is the one thing that makes one real estate agent more successful than others?
Consistency,
Consistency,
the way they talk to people, the way they treat people.
the way they treat people or talk to people,
Your drive.
their drive,
Personality,
personality,
what they know.
what they know,
Who they know.
who they know. What else? Does somebody have the roll book, or did she take it? Oh. She's probably making a copy of it first. Okay. So what about lead generation? Lead generation is what makes one agent more successful than others. And here's a clue. Anytime I ask a question in Ignite, if you don't know the answer, if you say lead generation, you're probably going to get it right. So Gary Keller says that we are a real estate company that is cleverly disguised as a lead generation company. I said that backwards. Gary Keller says we are a lead generation company that is cleverly disguised as a real estate company, right? Because if we don't have leads, we don't have a business. And so for a lot of us, we think about that and we think, well, I don't want to bug people. I don't want to be in sales. Is that what some of you have a mindset of, I really don't want to be pushy. I don't really want to be in sales. Anyone have that mindset? Yeah. For a lot of us, that's true. I want you to think about it a little bit different. So when we think about, we really are in sales, guys. I mean, we are. But it's service first, sales second. So if you can have the mindset, if I'm just here to go out and serve the people I know, I'm here to serve them and take care of them in one of the biggest investments that they're ever going to make. And I want to make sure they're protected and taken care of. Does that change your mindset about going out and asking people how you can help them? Mm-hmm. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to keep your mind around the fact that you really are in sales. as a second business because the first business is to serve your friends and family and those that they know. So, what do you think? No, Gary Keller said in the beginning when he kind of got together and was building Keller Williams, he wanted to know what is it that differentiates those who achieve at the highest level to those who do not. And so what he did was he got a panel together and interviewed about 12 top agents. And he asked them, what is it that sets you apart? And what he found was they all had three things in common. And those three things were mindset, attitude, and approach to life. And so from that, he then went and wrote the curriculum for the 6 personal perspectives. The 6 personal perspectives is an all-day class, and so we're not going to go through that, of course, today, but I'm just going to touch on what they are so that you're aware of them. Because in every training you have with Keller Williams, you are going to hear part of the 6 personal perspectives. Does that make sense? Okay, so the first one is committing to self-mastery. And committing to self-mastery is simply knowing where your skill sets lie and knowing where your weaknesses are and working together to work to play to your strengths. The second one is the 80-20 principle. Has anyone ever heard of the 80-20 principle? So the 80-20 principle is something that happens in not just in real estate. It happens in just about everything. But so in real estate, 20% of the agents are going to do 80% of the business. Is that pretty eye-opening? 20% of the agents are going to do 80% of the business. Do you want to be in that 20%? Absolutely. So that's where the daily 10-4 comes in. We'll talk about that a little bit further besides what Tammy told you earlier. And so we want to maximize your results. And so you have to concentrate. Is someone at the door? Can one of you just open it for them? Thank you. So to maximize your results, you have to focus on the 20%. And the 20% is the most important activity that would bring 80% of the results, right? So the 20% activity would be what? Leads. Lead generation, right? And so if you hear people, you'll hear people in the office say, I'm concentrating on my one thing. The one thing is lead generation, right? That is the one thing that's going to bring results. Or you'll hear somebody say, I'm working in my 20%. That means they're doing their lead generation because we can't control the results out here at the end, can we? But can we control our activities or our actions that would bring that result? So that's what we're talking about when we say we're working on our one thing or our 20% or our big rocks. You'll hear that used around here too. So you may have seen this video online. There's a teacher that is in front of his class and he has this great big jar. And he puts in some great big rocks and puts it down into the jar. And fills it all the way up to the top. Is that jar full now? No, because now he can throw in a bunch of pebbles, right? And they're going to trickle down between all those rocks. And then after you have that, is it full now? No, because you can pour sand in, right? And it's going to trickle down even further. And now is it full? No, you can put water in, right? But what if we did it the opposite way? What if we put in water and then we put in sand? Would we be able to fit in the pebbles and the big rocks? No. And so that's why you have to do the big rocks first. And so that's, again, that 80-20 principle. So you'll hear people saying, we're working on our big rocks. So there's a lot of Keller Williams lingo. And as you're going through all of these classes, if you hear somebody use an acronym or some kind of lingo you don't understand and they don't break it down for you, just raise your hand, because if you don't know it, likely somebody else doesn't either. And so if we throw out an acronym, there are a million of them, then just stop us if we don't tell you what that means so that you're understanding, okay? So the third personal perspective then after the 80-20 principle is moving from E to P. And so E to P means moving from entrepreneurial to purposeful. So you have to think about this in the way that, so entrepreneurial means that you're working in your natural habits, right? You're just doing what you naturally do, working with your own creativity. But then sometimes you will hit this ceiling. And when you hit that ceiling, in order to break through, you've got to get really purposeful to break through that ceiling. And then once you break through that ceiling, you're in a new area and you can work in your natural habits again until you hit the next ceiling. So think about this like a diet. If you've ever been on a diet and you're losing weight and you're doing great, and then all of a sudden you kind of hit a plateau and your body won't do anything else, right? Unless you change something and you get purposeful, and maybe it's, I'm gonna reduce my calories by this much, or I'm gonna walk this many more miles or go jogging, or I'm going to drink this much more water, that re-jump starts your body into that losing mode again. Has anyone ever experienced that? Yeah, so that's what we mean by E to P. When you hit a ceiling in your natural abilities, you've got to focus really small and purposeful in one area to break through to the next level. And most of the time, that probably is lead generation, right? You've got to double down or triple down to get past that hump. Sometimes it's, I've got to get really purposeful in getting a system in place to handle all of the business I'm taking care of. Sometimes I've got to get really purposeful if my business is big enough that I need to hire somebody to come in and help me with it. And I've got to take the time and slow down and focus to get the right person in order for my business to go to the next level. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's working from moving from E to P. The next one is being learning-based, the foundation for your action plan. Learning-based, you get that. Y'all are right here in this class because you know you've got to build a foundation for your business, and this is the way to do it. So all of our agents in the office that are successful are at least in 2 trainings a month. You all are going to be, a week. You all are going to be in a lot more than that in the beginning. And you're going to be drinking from a fire hose for a while, and we're here to help you kind of take the right sips so you can manage it. And then just know you're not alone there. Everyone else is drinking from a fire hose for about 6 months. And so just know, if you're in this for 5 months and you still feel overwhelmed, it's okay. It's just part of the process. There is a lot to learn in real estate. You're wearing a lot of different hats. Nobody probably thought about getting into real estate as wearing a lot of hats. You probably thought, oh, I'm gonna get to go and look at a lot of pretty homes. I just love looking at homes. Well, if that's the reason you got in the business, because you love looking at homes, you're in the wrong business. Because that is such a small portion of it, right? And right now you are at the point of, think about it like you are a convenience store that's about to open up. So you may be open and people are trickling in, but you're gearing up for your grand opening. And Ignite is that for you. You've got to get the inventory on the shelves. You've got to get your marketing in place. You've got to get your accounting set up. You've got to do all kinds of stuff, right? And so that's what Ignite is. It's taking all of those things that you need for your grand opening and getting them in place for you to launch your business. Does that make sense? Awesome. So the next one, number 5 in the 6 personal perspectives, is removing your limiting belief. We all have limiting beliefs about ourselves because of things we've been told, whether as a child or in a previous job or in a relationship. And so we've got to make sure we keep that monkey mind, is what they call it in bold, out of our mind. We've got to free ourselves up and believe in ourselves. So when you have limiting beliefs, you need to work through that with somebody. So a limiting belief, money doesn't grow on trees. Okay, y'all gotta wake up and talk loud. Money doesn't go on trees. Money is the root of all evil, right? Those are limiting beliefs. They are such a limiting belief because it's not about the money. Money is not evil. It doesn't have emotions, right? We have to make money to be able to help people. Money is good for the good it can do. So whether your goal is to help your family or whether it's to go out and build a community for underprivileged children or whatever your goal is, you're going to have some money to do that, right? So you have to not have a limiting belief about it. There is someone that is on staff in this office that in Bold realized that they had a threshold of what they thought they could make because every single generation before them had never made more than that. And so when they realized that it was okay to make more and there was more they could do with it, they went out and they made more money. So you've got to get rid of your limiting beliefs. And then number 6 is being accountable. Guys, we most of the time will not be accountable to ourselves. We will let ourselves slide. So you need an accountability partner in this business that will help you get where you want to be. Whether that be a peer in this class or a coach, right? You can come talk to Jean and I and we will help you out with coaching and help you be accountable. But you need to be accountable because you want to get somewhere in this, right? And so we're here to help you with accountability, and it's always good to have a peer partner. And don't have your peer partner be your favorite buddy in Ignite because they will not hold you accountable. They'll go, oh, it's okay you didn't do that today. No, it's not okay. You want a business, right? And so find somebody that is not someone that you're going to both be comfortable and excuse each other. Instead, find somebody that will say, you didn't get your contacts in yesterday. Come on, let's go do it together. All right, so Ignite's going to provide you with the tools to develop and cultivate your accountability to be successful. And that's the 6 personal perspectives. Let's talk really quickly about getting the most out of this experience. There are 3 types of people in this class, right? There's the prisoner. I have to be here, so I'm just going to show up and do it and get it over with. And then there's the vacationer. Well, if I go to that class, I don't have to go do this. I don't have to go lead generate. I don't have to, right? They're just here to take up time. And then there's the explorer. That's the ones of you that look at this new job, it's a job for you guys, right? This is a new adventure for you. And you need to go out and conquer it and win at this adventure. So that's all I'm going to say about that. So we have the missions on the next page in Ignite. I'm around page 12, 13, 14. My book's a little different than yours, so I just... You're on 15, thank you. Okay, so this is your Ignite missions. And the way the missions work is you ideally will have done mission 1 before you come to day 1. You may not have known that, and that's okay, but you'll have to catch up and do mission 1. Then you want to do mission 2 before you come back on Wednesday. Then mission 3 before you come back on Friday. Because a lot of times these missions are setting something up in order for you to use it in the class or learning a little bit about something.
Sorry, I didn't know. I just know that Ignite started
No.
on Monday. So what
Yes,
days
a
are
lot
they?
of times people don't know. We had Ignite Fuel Up last week, and if you came to that, they should have told you about getting the mission done before. And if you are not yet in our system, I know a couple of you guys are still in the licensing process. That's fine. You will not be able to access this. But you knew that coming in, that you weren't in our systems yet. You knew that you're kind of auditing the class, and then when you get your license, you'll come in and you'll start all over. Okay? So when you go to look for these,
Like I found the sample, but like that's something with visual
yes,
actions.
so that's what I was just about to tell you. So when you go into mykw.kw.com, under the education tab, yes,
Real quick,
can you make sure that you're changing the slides on there too, so people?
Oh, I am so sorry, guys. I am not used to
that's
working
okay.
with the PowerPoint.
It's okay. No worries.
Thank you, Noah.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see if I can make this work here. Let's see. All right, so with the missions, as you can see on this screen, it's that white page and it has the little black arrows to the right. I'm going to tell you where to go and find this online. So when you are doing the missions, you're going to go to mykw.kw.com, and at the top, you're going to see the education tab, and you're going to click on that. And when that page opens up, you will see the Ignite icon right there in the top middle of the page.
There's two, there's Ignite, Ignite 2.0.
Just do the regular Ignite, not the 2.0. I'm going to look at his screen to make sure I'm saying it right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so you're going to do the Ignite, not Ignite 2.0 lab, because that's where they are labbing a new curriculum, and we are not in that lab yet. So once that opens up, you're going to scroll down the page just a little bit to where it says Student Resources, and there you will find the manual. So if you are not with us and you don't have this paper manual, you can have the digital version there, and then you'll see where it says mission. And when you open up that mission, those black arrows are links that take you directly to the videos to watch. In day one, the videos last about 45 minutes total altogether. All of the other sessions, it's 10 or 15 minutes. And so it's not a lot. And part of your mission every day is your daily 10-4. So the homework is not huge, but there is a little bit.
Clarification, on Thursday or the Wednesday fuel up, we were told there's a mission every day, 5 days a week. You said it's a mission per class.
So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you do the classes, and the day before those, you do the missions.
Oh, so there's no like.
So there's
mission
3
there.
missions a week. Yes. You'll also see in here, there is a sample schedule in your book, the Ignite calendar, which we just talked about, Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes. We're not going to really go over the ground rules of Ignite, but it is in here. And basically, it's just saying we're going to start on time. We're going to end on time. Please silence your phones and respect everybody's learning differences. So we're not going to spend any more time on that. So who in here has heard about a big why? A couple of you? So your big why is, why are you in business? What's the purpose for you getting into real estate? Anyone can achieve goals set in this course, but not everyone will. It's going to require a little bit of discipline, commitment to follow the model systems and the schedule, and passion towards something bigger, right? Because we talked about this early. It's not about the money. So what is it about for you? What is important to you? So here's what I want you to do. If everyone will just close your eyes, whether you're at home by yourself or you're in this room, if you'll close your eyes, I want you to think about this. I want you to think about today's date, 1 year from now. So June 1st of 2021. Now imagine that your business is thriving and your life is everything you've dreamed of. Your customers are raving about the experience and the value that you provide, and they think of you when they have a real estate need. Your family and your friends are proud of your success, and they're consistently referring business your way. You're helping other people live their dreams, and you're focused on helping them get what they desire. You're building a foundation and a momentum for your entire career. You're gaining relationships and experiences and your income that you desire. Maybe you're the top agent in your market center. What if you're Rookie of the Year? What if you're poised to hire your first assistant? What are you on a path to? So what I'd like for you to do is turn the page to where it says your turn, big Y. I'm going to ask a few questions, and I want you to write down your answers. What is your driving motivation, the why or goal for a career in real estate? So you've got your book there, turn over to that page and write your answers in here. What is your driving motivation, the why or the goal for a career in real estate? If you're following along online, we're on page 21. And if you don't have that pulled up on your computer, you can just take out a piece of paper and write it down. But what is your driving motivation, the why or goal for a career in real estate? What will achieving this goal mean to you? In what way will your life change? What doors can that open for you? So we're going to go around and share some of our big whys. Excuse me. First, I'll tell you a little bit about my big why, just to give you an example. So when I started out in real estate, my big why, different seasons in your life, you're going to have a little bit of difference in your big why. So there's probably always going to be some similarities, but your why can change in different seasons. when I started out in real estate, my kids were really young, and I was not looking to have a huge business, right? I wanted to afford a few extras for my kids, maybe the sports or the music lessons or small vacations besides what my husband could provide with his income. Because I wanted to be home with my children as much as possible, but I did want to make a little bit of money, right? And so then my kids got older, my why changed, right? I started wanting different things for our family. And then as my kids got older again, it changed. And so I just want you to know that wherever you are on this journey, it's your goal. And it's okay. We're not going to compare our insides to someone else's outsides. We talked about that whole law earlier, right? And so when in 2013, my daughter became very ill, and we ended up having to leave and be in another state for care for the full year. And through that process, this office and my friends and my family and people I knew surrounded us in a way that impacted me, forever changed me, really. So they gave to us in ways that allowed my husband and my other two sons to travel and come see us on a regular basis. They took over my business. They took care of yard work and housework and all of those things that I didn't have to worry about, and monetarily supported us in a big way during that time. And so that changed me. I've always been somebody that wants to help other people and give back to other people, but I didn't want to ever have to think, am I going to be able to help this person? I didn't want to have to look at my bank account to see if I was able to write a check to help someone. So it made me change my big why. I want to be able to give back unconditionally to people, whether that's my time, my talents, my skills, or my money, right? And so I've got to make enough money to be able to do that. I've also since, my big why's changed a little bit since then, because I also now have 2 grandchildren that I didn't have before. And I want their life to be different than it was for my children, right? And so whatever your big why is, that's what's going to fuel you in this business. There are days in this business that are hard, where your clients are hollering at you, other agents hollering at you, you keep getting no's and you can't find any business. If you're doing your daily 10-4, you're going to get some business, I'm just telling you. But it can be a tough, hard business. Your why has to be big enough that it will overcome every obstacle in your business, because you know you will not give up, because your why is big enough to fuel you forward. And so that's why we have this discussion in this class, because we're about to talk about what your monetary goals are. But we've got to know why you want to reach that monetary goal to keep you focused on it, right? So I'd love to hear some of your big ones. Who's willing to share?
More time for my volunteer work and travel and skiing.
Volunteer, travel, and skiing. What kind of volunteer work are you passionate about?
I help we raise funds and run a camp for orphans in Ukraine every year. So that's what I've been involved with the last 10 years.
Awesome. What else?
My initial big why is kind of similar to yours. I've been here in Texas for about 6 years, and initially when we first moved down here, my son didn't agree with Texas. So he got allergies, hit him hard, asthma hit him hard, and I had a pretty understanding job in the health field, and I actually worked for my child's doctor, but it was like that sense of guilt, with having to explain to them I won't be in because my son is in the hospital. And even though they were very, very understanding, it was just that, of course, that sense of guilt. And I didn't want to have that held over me, even though I know this is where I was going to be next to my son. But, just to not have to explain to someone that, I'm not gonna be in today, you know, because my son is in the hospital. I have to do
So
that.
freedom to be able to work the job that you want, that gives you the flexibility to be with your child when he's sick and in need.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anyone else? Yes.
It's control my own destiny and kind of help people, guide people through ownership. I think there's a lot of people that think home ownership is kind of out of their reach and it's not something that they will ever accomplish. But being able to be a part of that, I think.
It's very rewarding.
Mine is to finish building my own home, my first ever home with zero debt. So I
To pay cash for your first home.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
That'll motivate me to.
Mhm. And what would that do for you and your family?
Well, I mean, it's kind of like with you too. I've always liked to give back. I actually, before this, went to school for criminal justice. I wanted to be a police officer to help people. But I realized that I can do that in so many different ways. So in order, like you say, for me, I have to make money to help people. That's the way.
And my big why just changed, like you said, this pandemic, because I was supposed to want to have time to take my kids to school and all that, but now it's like just they stay home, I can do my own schedule, I can come to classes and have my appointments, and also we have I like to help people, like right now it's a lot of people they can work, so I support them, give them information, give them pamphlets and deliver food. And also we help people in Mexico because some people they can work and they're sick, so we send them money. So that's a good thing.
That's awesome. Is there anyone online that would like to share their big why?
Hi, Hen. This is Danielle Ortiz.
Yes.
Yes, my big why is, I've been in the hair salon business. I own my own business and have had it for 30 years. I just turned 50, so I make my own schedule. So in the beginning, it was like, okay, well, I need something else to do. I have all of this time. But then when your passion kicks in and your drive kicks in, and you think about really how successful you can really be at this, and mine is because my daughter's 19. Well, I'm sure she's going to be getting married at 23. She's going to give me grandchildren. Like you said, I want a better life for my grandchildren, even a better life for my daughter. Maybe get to the point where, hey, I'm paying all my funeral expenses. That's one thing, my daughter doesn't have to worry about. There's just all these things. When you turn 50, your outlook on life is so different, So basically, you want your children to be comfortable and you want to take care of as many financial burdens as you possibly can. So that's kind of the main reason why.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Anyone else, either online or in the class, that wants to share?
Mine is basically probably more suited to the 80-20. Maximizing time management to do more in a streamlined way. For example, I love to travel. It's very rewarding to be able to assist my family members in travel with my benefits. So if I were in a position to say, hey, you're not on my benefits, but here, let's go help him. He's got an orphanage. Let's all go. There's 20 of us, and I can put that, carry us over to help, do something fun like that. That would be amazing.
Yeah. So mixing the passion of travel with helping other people. That's awesome. Okay. Now that we know why we want to make money, let's talk about the money we want to make. We got to know how much it will take to fund that passion, right? And so now we're going to turn over to page 23, I believe. Yeah, so in the first big box on page 23, it says write your annual monetary goal down here. So in the next 12 months, how much do you want to make? Everybody got a number written down? Okay, so we're going to turn it over a page, and it has a box that says, your turn, know your commission. So average sales price, in this market, you don't have an average sales price yet, so we're going to use the market centers. It's $250,000. And then the average commission rate to you is 3%. So we're going to do that math. What would be the average gross commission income to you? If it was 250,000 times 3%, anyone got that number?
7,500.
Yes, 7,500. That's correct. So if we know for every transaction that we do at an average sales price of 250,000, we're going to make $7,500. That's the gross. That's before you pay Keller Williams their split, right? Or any of your expenses or taxes, but that's your gross. So now we're going to break it down and figure out how many transactions it's going to take in order to hit that goal. So we're going to turn over a couple of pages where you have an A, B, C, D, E. This is on page 23 to 26, guys. So it's on page 26 is the one I want you to go to. It's the one that has a blank out on the right. So line A is your annual net GCI goal. So what you wrote in that big box before, let's write that number down here. And then line B is your market center cap. That's 21,000. Remember, it was $18,000 for the office cap, and then there's the $3,000 to cap with the franchise fee for international. Hi, Jean.
Good morning, how are you all? All right.
Hey, just a second. I know it's exciting for people to be here, isn't it?
Yeah, bodies and chairs.
Give me just a second. I'd love for you to come up and say hi. Line C is the GCI. So A plus B equals C.
What was the B again?
B is 21,000. So A was your goal. B is 21,000. C is the sum of those two numbers. Then line D is the average commission per transaction. Remember that was 7,500. So write 7,500 in there. And now you're going to take C divided by D. C divided by D to get to line E.
Wouldn't that mess up because part of D is inside the market center cap? Mathematically?
This is going to give you your gross
Oh.
before your net. Yes. So here's where we're going to remember again the bold law of don't compare your insides to someone else's outsides. We all are at different places in our lives and we all have different goals, and it's okay, it's your goal. It's not my goal, it's your goal. So we may have somebody in here that their goal says 80 something transactions a year, and we may have somebody that has 12 or less. It's okay, whatever it is, it's your goal. So I want to hear some numbers. How many transactions do you need?
20.9.
So 21. 20. 36.
I said a small number, 9.
9. It's okay. It's your goal.
I said 17.
17.
30.
30.
I'm kind of undecided, but probably around 25.
Okay. All right. What's your goal, Danielle? What's your transaction number?
I'm still trying to do it right now because first I was like really high, then I'm trying to be realistic. But yeah,
Okay, how about you, Amanda?
it's definitely
Mine is 16.
16, awesome.
Mhm.
And Davalon?
Yes, I'm sorry, I'm here.
That's okay. What was your transaction number?
Oh, I'm listening. I'm sorry. I work as well during the morning, so I'm just listening in. Is that okay?
That's all right. You can catch up later and figure out and or come see us and we'll help you with that number.
Perfect. Thank you.
Danielle, you let us know if you need help with yours.
Yes, I will. You know, I'm so sad because I didn't even know you guys were having class today at Keller Williams. I thought it was just Zoom, or else I would have been there.
That's okay. We're
I
going
will be there at noon today, so.
Okay, and so Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you can be here in class or you can attend through Zoom. Either one is just fine. Okay, so everybody's got a number. And now I want you to think about something. If you said you need 30 transactions, what if I could cut that number in half and give you the same amount of money?
That'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome? Is that possible?
I would think so.
You'd like to think so?
I believe you.
So the National Association of Realtor has a statistic that says for every listing that you have, you get 1 to 2 buyers. So instead of going out and trying to figure out how to get 30 transactions, what if you went and got 15 listings? If you got 15 listings and then statistics show you get 1 to 2 closings from that, 1 to 2 buyers from that, it's automatically going to bring the other buyers. It's going to bring the other 15 transactions, right? So just go get 15 listings. I mean, in a year, that's, you know, just a little over 1 a month. And so I think that's very doable for you. Also, that helps leverage your business. And that's something you need to think about from the beginning. Because number one, listings bring market share to you. It's going to bring more people into you. But number two, how many buyers can you take out in your car at one time? 1. How many listings can you have on the ground at one time? As many as you want, right? How many buyers can you make sure gets under contract and closes while you're gone on vacation? How many listings can sell while you're on vacation? All of them, right? So listings, go get your listings. Listings make a lasting business. Okay, real quick, I'm going to introduce Gene because he came in the back of the classroom.
I suck it.
Gene is my partner in coaching. And you'll also see him in here teaching.
2 weeks from today.
Yeah.
Yeah, June the 15th. Today's June the 1st. So plus 14 days, June the 15th. Good. Well, we're super glad you're here. And the other good thing about those numbers you were just going over, you're self-employed. You can change them tomorrow. You can change them next week. You go through another something, you talk to somebody else, you can move them wherever you want to. And over time, they ought to move up and down some, but you're going to need to adjust. Good. Well, we're really happy to have y'all here and glad that we're back to some semi-sense of normalcy. Was that World War I, I think, back to normalcy or something like that. Didn't work out so well for Woodrow Wilson, but it'll work out better for us. Yeah. So good to see y'all. We've got names, numbers, cards, and right there in the coaching suite. So drop by sometime, stop in and visit, pick up a card, call us anytime, and we can help. All right, I'll let you get back to it.
Coaching suites just to the right outside this door. Come in there and talk to us and also attend coaching orientation, like we said, when it's on the calendar next.
Yeah, good. And I'm on my way to Johnson County, checking things there.
Awesome.
I'll let you know what I find out. All right, we all be sure to learn a thing or three. Okay. Good luck.
Thanks, James. See you later. Okay, let me check the time. I think it's time for a 10-minute break. And so, yes, 10-minute break. And if you're online, guys, just hang out with us for a minute and we'll be back in about 10.
Sorry. Is that a question? For the contact vehicle.
Really, okay, so they go away and they don't. And sorry, that's just from my previous working
Sure.
experience, I just
Yes.
sticks with me. Okay.
Are we what?
Oh, the forms, contract forms?
We don't do contracts in Ignite, but it should be separate on the calendar. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I didn't get a calendar in here either. I didn't see it inside of here with the schedule.
It's not part of the packet.
Oh, they've taken it out. It's just, remember, it's just Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 to 12.
It's, if you got the email from Jennifer with the link to add the KW office calendar to yours, it has everything, like it just autofills your calendar right away.
I didn't, I know we were having issues with, okay, she just resent it to me for, with my username and password.
Like I can get into my KW, I can't get into KW.
KW and the calendar.
Oh no, that one I did no problem. It's when you go to kw.com, I can't log in there at all.
Oh, well, you mean
I had password issues last week.
Yeah, I just got my username and password.
But you need it. For the username? Yes. You can just go.
Yeah, she just emailed me and told me we can get it set up.
Yeah.
So how long have you been in real estate?
I'm good. I'm starting in January, but then like I just came to Ignite classes and then you know what, we stopped. So that's
Mhm.
why I'm come back because it's always something to learn.
Yeah, well, good.
And now I'm trying to sell a house. I don't know. I saw one, a new one, so it was easy.
Right.
But then this one is gonna be like it's a client I have. She's looking for 160, but no more than 180. It can be 160, 70, either one. But have to be no less, well, in certain area, like 76123, 123, 76133, 76123, 76036. I was like, choose those three areas. Why? We have more areas and better prices. And she's like, no. What can I tell her?
Well,
She doesn't want to move from those areas.
Yeah, what kind of time frame is she?
We are like 3 weeks already working.
So does she have a time frame that she has to find a house? Is her lease about to expire or anything?
Well, no, the lease, she doesn't have any problem with the lease. She pays 1100, so she's fine. And she wants to pay less, no more than 1300 the home. So it's fine, but the thing is like, the lender said just tell her because the letter can be expired 9 days. So we still have 60 days, but I'm like, I don't want to push her, but
Yeah.
tell her, you know what, just think about this.
So if she has no sense of urgency,
No.
then, the thing that you could maybe say is, interest rates are about as low as they can go. They can only go one way. So we need to be sure to find you a house before they go back up. And either that makes your monthly payment higher, or now your price has to come down. Because the interest rate, you're going to be paying more in interest. So sometimes that makes sense to people. It's like they're not going to stay here for forever. And so whether it's a week or a month or whatever, 6 months that you're on, that you're thinking about it. And some people are just real picky. They think waiting is a good idea. And I tell people to be picky and be patient. But there are also a point where it's past their own self-interest to wait too long. Because again, interest rates go up, more of your monthly payment goes to interest, less to principal. So that means you could buy a 180 house, now you're down to 170. Yeah. You just never know.
Okay, I shrunk this down and I may not be able to get it back up. There it is.
Okay.
I'm on Wes's Apple and I don't, not familiar with them as much.
Yeah, I understand that. Well, that'll be. Yeah, I thought I'd head over there, just check out, see where they want us to be tomorrow, check their calendar, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, ask them where you can meet for groups. Ask them if there's an office that will be able to utilize.
Yeah. So I've got a call, my 1 hour call with Mika is at noon today. So I thought I'd head over there pretty soon and get set up and do that. And then first actual coaching call tomorrow. And so anyway, got her that stuff. So, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'll check in with you later. Oh, we need to get on our Zoom thing. Mhm.
We're live there.
Yeah. Those two added.
Oh,
West
Yes.
Fort Worth Wednesdays at 2, Johnson County Tuesday at 1.
okay.
All righty. And then that's it.
All right. Touch base with me later.
Okay, I'll do it. All right.
Bye. Okay, guys, we've got about 1 more minute, I think. Will you put the door stop in there, Jean? You can leave it open. I'm fine with it open.
So are you two then the coaches for the
All
other two
3
offices as well?
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've been running the coaching department for 6 years, and Jean joined me 4 years ago.
So
He was one of
for
my
some reason I thought
first
like,
coaching clients.
because of the pandemic, you guys conglomerated all 3 to coach under them? Is it because of that, or was it always like that?
We have just started doing it. We have been talking about it for a while and finally realized it was needed. And so we've expanded into all 3 market centers. Yeah.
So before, like, or Johnson County had
They
their
had
own
their
ownership?
own, each of them had their own, and now we're doing it all.
So you guys have merged, or is it just the 2 of you doing?
It's the 2 of us. And literally we started this week is our first week in Johnson County.
Oh, wow.
So,
I guess, like, my question is then, like, doesn't that mean there's, like, you guys are thinned out now? From before?
Not really.
Or that depends on how many new agents are in at that time period?
Yeah, and it's not just new agents. I have people that have been with me for 4 years that are cappers and beyond.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, we meet in group sessions, so but then we're available nights and weekends too. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get back started. I know there's a couple people still not back in the room, but we're gonna go ahead and keep to our time schedule here. So, how long on average do you think it takes to get a buyer or a seller to sign a contract for purchasing a house or for a listing?
To sign the contract
Mm-hmm.
to purchase the house?
Yeah, from the point that you meet them or have a conversation with them to the point that they sign something.
Like a listing agreement?
A listing agreement or a buyer rep agreement or a contract to purchase a home.
A week, 2 weeks?
It depends. You're right. So 1 to 60 days generally, right? Because I may meet them today, but they may not be ready to do something for 30 days or 60 days. And in some cases, with a buyer, it could be 6 months or more. And so it just depends. And so the point is we've got to be in contact with our people, right? How long does it take for a transaction to close in general, once you've gone under contract? 30 to 60 days, right, generally. Unless it's like a new construction that's got to be built, that can take longer. But in general, it's going to be about 30 to 60 days. So what you have to think about is how quickly do you want to get paid, right? So lead generate every day, build your database of contacts, communicate with people about real estate, and commit to going on appointments and practice your scripts daily. And so here's what we know. With lead generation, it's going to take you this many leads. I'm going to turn this way so the camera can see me over here too. This many leads to get to this many appointments, to then get to this many that are actually agreements, to get to this many that actually become a contract, to get to this many that will close. So we've got to have lots of leads, right, to have a consistent pipeline. Because here's what happens in real estate. A lot of times we start lead generating and we lead generate, and we got all of this stuff coming in. And so then we start taking care of all this business and we stop lead generating. And when we do that, what happens is we have these hills and valleys of real estate. And so you're doing good, and you've got all these things that are in the pipeline, and now they are all closing, and guess what? I stopped lead generating, so now I start going down into this valley where I've got to build my pipeline again by lead generating to get it back up to have more transactions again, right? We don't want you to have any valleys because those valleys get very long and dry because everything in real estate, like we were talking about, takes 60 to 90 days out before anything you do today takes 60 to 90 days to have a result of profit, right? So we want you to have a consistent pipeline of business instead of the hills and valleys. And the only way to do that is if you have your lead generation time blocked in your calendar and nothing gets in the way. So here's the way I want you to think about lead generation. If you were at a listing appointment and your phone rang and you thought it could be a potential other listing, would you stop your listing appointment to talk to the people on the phone? Absolutely not, right? You're going to respect the people in front of you. Your lead generation is also an appointment. It is an appointment for yourself to bring in business, to have that steady pipeline. So you can't allow any other interruptions. You don't stop and take other phone calls. You don't stop and check your email or play on Facebook. You lead generate and you keep that appointment. Because if we work in our business on all of these other things and we don't lead generate, then we have no business. We aren't going to get any new leads, right? So we have to consistently be lead generating to get new leads to keep our business pipeline going. So we are going to every session be calling in our sessions. We are going to take the time to make phone calls to start you in getting this daily 10-4. And that way, when you get out of class, you don't have as many to do, right? Because you've gotten a few out of the way during class. So we talked earlier about the daily 10-4. I'm going to touch on this again. I know Tammy went over it, but I'm going to touch on it really quickly again. So new contacts, 10 daily. That means you are talking to someone about real estate with 10 people every day. And I know most of the time, and it probably says in this book, those are face-to-face or voice-to-voice communications. If you are doing it through text or social media, as long as it is a two-way conversation going back and forth about real estate, then yes, that is a contact. So even though it says in here voice-to-voice or face-to-face, just know text and social media you can count as long as you are really having a conversation about real estate. And then you're going to put 10 contacts in your database daily. And to do that, you're going to go to agent.kw.com. That's command where your database lives. And you can add your people in there. You're going to try to get all of their information when you're talking to them, getting their email, their phone number, and their home address. If you can get their birthdays, get those. Whatever they've told you, there's a note section. So you're going to fill that out. And when you go to your tech classes, you're going to learn more about how to do that. We're not going to go over that in class. And then we've got the 10 handwritten notes. Why do we want you to handwrite them? It's a personal touch. You took the time to do that. That means something to people. Also, how often do you get a handwritten note anymore? Very rarely, right? So it sets you apart from other agents. It's a personal touch. And then the previewing 10 homes. And I'm going to tell, that is a week, 10 homes a week. I'm going to tell you, besides the things Tammy said here to look for, I'm going to tell you why we want you previewing homes. Number one, you're new to this and you don't know what the market is out there. You need to know about the market. You need to know the product that you are selling, right? And so if you go into your first home and you have not seen any others, you don't know what to compare it to. And so we want you getting familiar. The other reason we want you doing this is, let me tell you guys, those little super keys are great. And you're going to run into some combo lock boxes. And there are a million different kinds of combo lock boxes. And you haven't learned yet how to use your super key. And when you get there the first time with a buyer, you don't want to be fumbling around trying to figure out how to open that box. You want to be familiar with how to do it so you don't look silly, right? So we want you to get used to that. Here's just a little clue. When you go in and you open that door, I would not leave the key in the door. I would also not go in and set it on the cabinet. Keep the key in your hand because some homes, I know this from personal experience, you go out the back door and they have an automatic lock and now you are locked in the backyard with a high fence and you cannot get out and you have to call your buddy to come over and open the house for you from the front. Or you've got to get your client to jump the fence because you're in a dress and you can't jump the fence and they go around the front and go through the open door. You don't want that to happen to you. There are all kinds of little things that can happen to you. Also, you're going to start learning how a home feels and how it's laid out and how to talk to your people about that. So when I go into a home, and not everyone is like this, this is just my practice, and I've got that MLS sheet in front of me, and they say, well, how big is the living room? I'm not going to tell them it's a 14 by 16 living room, because that's going to automatically, for some people, make them reject it. They may go, well, that's not big enough, or I don't want one this big. Instead, what if we said, well, how does it feel to you? Can you see your furniture laid out in this room? Would this be a comfortable size for your family? Do you entertain a lot? What are your needs for this room? Right? Because I don't want to just, you know, they used to put the little flyers outside in the tubes at homes. And I learned a long time ago to not do that, because people pull it out and go, well, this is this many square feet. I don't want to see that. But what they didn't realize if they had gone in was how open it was, and it didn't feel like it was this size, right? I don't want to give them a reason to reject it by just something that it says on a page. I want them to get inside and decide if they've fallen in love with it or not. And so that's just a little tip. So when you're walking through these homes, the other thing is you want to check out the condition of the property. Because when you take people in the first time, they're not looking to see if there are cracks coming from the windows or from the doorways, or if there's water damage on the ceiling. They're just walking through because it's the first time. They don't see that till the second or third time that they see it. But if they're very interested and you have learned to look for these things, it's things that you can say. I just want to make sure you saw that. We want to check that out when we have the inspector and make sure there's not a problem, right? So it's just learning the condition of the property and walking through it and learning how to open that lockbox, and also more than anything, kind of knowing your inventory, because then if you show a home in that neighborhood the next time and the buyer says, well, I really like it, but blah, blah, blah. And you can say, well, I've seen all of the other homes that are currently for sale in this neighborhood, and this one actually has better condition, lower price. You know it because you've seen the other one, right? And so beginning to just learn your inventory is a good thing. And again, we are going to keep up with our numbers with this. So how many looked at this and said, I just told you to do 40 things and you're overwhelmed already? Anyone feel that way? No, I'm going to call 10 people today. I may start with the people in my phone or the people in my Facebook. Those are databases in themselves. I'm going to call 10 people. Then I'm going to put those 10 people in my database and write the notes about them. And then I'm going to send them a handwritten note about well, my handwritten note maybe only says, it was great talking to you today. I hope you have a great week. That may be all it says. Or they told me they're going to have a new grandbaby. It was great talking to you today. Congratulations on the new coming baby. Talk to you soon.
So you're suggesting only send note cards to the people that you call?
Yeah. So that way you are doing it in a systematic way, right? I've touched them here with a phone call. I put them in my database to build my database. But now I've sent them a handwritten note. There's touch number 2. And then if I go back into command and I put them on some kind of a campaign, now they will get their third touch with an email. And then the next one might be a text. And then the next one might be a call again, right? You can set it up in your tasks or in a campaign that tells you what to do next, or that will automatically generate for you.
So you think sending out a note card, just mass cards to people you haven't talked to on the phone, I guess you kind of think that's a waste of time?
I don't think it's a waste of time, but what I wonder is when you send out, let's say 200 note cards, unless you have a follow-up for it, and if it's a call, can you reach 200 people?
So it's just like the business card that gets thrown in the trash.
It is just like the business card that gets thrown in the trash, basically. But if you do this, and I did 10 people today, and tomorrow is the next 10 people, so now when it comes around to their next touch, I'm just back to that first 10. And then it'll be the second 10. So it's a systematic approach to your database, right? And we're going to track all of that online. So now let's talk a little bit about.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So say if I wanted to reach out to 10 people today, obviously right now, today, I don't know of anybody looking for a home, but these are just people that I know. So am I reaching out to say, hey, in the future, if you're looking for a home, I am a realtor, whoever you know is looking for a home, keep me in mind. Is this what I'm doing?
Absolutely. And so we've got a script in the book for this. And I'm also going to tell you another script that you can use. And what I want you all to think about when you're reaching out to your database, I can't call Heath every week and say, aren't you ready to sell yet, Heath? I'm going to drive him crazy and he's going to quit answering my calls. It's not about whether Heath is going to do something. It's whether he might be, but if not, who does he know that I don't, that I could be in touch with and serve them in helping them with their real estate needs.
Okay, great. That was the question I had.
And after you've become familiar with reaching out to your database, in the beginning, we're just letting them know we're in real estate, because right now they equate us as the nurse in the doctor's office or whatever we did before, whatever our former profession was. And they're going to keep remembering that for the next 2 or 3 years unless I'm letting them know all the time that I'm a realtor. Because guess what, guys? Every one of you will have this happen to you. You will go home and there will be a sign in your next door neighbor's yard because you never contacted them about real estate and you assumed they knew and remembered you were a realtor. Your family member. This happened to me personally. My brother bought an $800,000 home without me. He would have never, ever done that to hurt me. I actually had his home listed. But he and his wife were driving around one day and pulled into a new development, and the developer was there and needed to unload this house and took like $80,000 off the home, agreed to completely redo the kitchen and put in a very high dollar pool. And they were excited and said, yeah. And they pulled out of the parking lot and called me.
Oh, at least.
And about 3 words into it, he went, oh my goodness. He realized they just got caught up in the moment. And it wasn't on purpose. I mean, he felt horrible for years. People don't know, and they don't realize. So yes.
So, okay, we're in Ignite 1. We have all these other classes that we can do before we can even start making phone calls. What if this week I run across somebody, they know I'm a realtor, they say, Danielle, I'm looking for a house. Can I still help them even though I haven't finished all these Ignite classes and I'm not as educated on what the first thing to do?
Absolutely. What you do when that happens is you call Jean Lamb or myself as your coach, and we will book time with you to make sure you're prepared for that appointment, help you pull comps, and help get you going.
Okay, great.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have people that take a listing in their first day in Ignite from making phone calls, a listing appointment. So you could get business today and not know what to do with it. That's why we are here. Jean and I are here as coaches. All of the staff is here to help you out. If you can't get one of us, you call another one of us until you reach the right person. And anybody that you call, they can just point you in the right direction. Okay? So how many of you have worked with scripts before? Okay, a few. How does scripts feel to you when you started?
Initially.
Like a robot.
Initially rocky, sounded rote or like a robot. Absolutely.
I almost feel safer because it takes away the apprehension. Like it's there for you. Like whether you think you can do it or not, you just trust the words and just read it.
So you like it because you can
It
just
feels
trust
safer,
the
it's easier,
words
yeah.
and read it.
I just feel like it seems kind of fake, like that's more.
Yes, and it does sound fake when you're not familiar with it. When you hear somebody else do it, it does not sound fake because they have it internalized. So here's the deal. When you learn scripts, you read it, write it, chant it, sing it. I don't care what you do to learn it. You just practice, 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 practice until you have it down. Because it's that E to P thing, right? Entrepreneurial to purposeful. You have to be purposeful first and learn the script just the way it is. And once you've learned the script, what will happen is you'll break through the ceiling because you've internalized it, and your own creativity will come out and it will sound more like you. But in the beginning, you don't know what to say. And if you don't know the script, you're fumbling around so you don't sound confident. So it's after you internalize it that it becomes your script. So used to in Ignite, the script started and said, this is Sarah O'Cana with Keller Williams, and this is a business call. I hated that. It just seemed abrupt and in their face. But it was there for a reason. It was there to let somebody know, hey, I know you're working and I'm working. This is not a chit chat session. This is for us to talk real quick. I'm going to let you go back to work. I'm going to get back to work. So it doesn't become just a chat session. And then you can warm it up at the end and you could say, hey, I really do want to catch up with you when we're both not working. Can I call you this weekend, right? However, I did not like that wording. And I did what they told me to do. I finally just internalized it and learned it the way it was. And one day when I picked up the phone, this weird thing happened. I had it so internalized that my own words came out, even though I said the same thing. And I just said, hey, this is Sarah O'Cana with Keller Williams Realty. Hey, I've got my realtor hat on today, and I'm making a few phone calls, right? So I just had my realtor hat on today making some calls. So I still let him know it was a business call without saying it so directly. And so that's what I mean. I didn't try to change those words. I had it so internalized that it just came out. There's a video that I want you all to watch. You can look it up online, and it's called, let me find it. It's called How to Use Scripts. And here's what I want you to know about that. When you are using scripts, what he basically is telling you in there is that, number one, when you are using scripts, you are more in control of the conversation. It allows you to listen to their answers instead of thinking about what you're going to say next. Because if you're using a script and you don't know it fully and it's not internalized, and you ask the client a question, you're so busy trying to think of what to say next that you miss their answer. And what if they told you their pure motivation of why they're doing something? And if you didn't hear that, you're not ever going to be able to get them to their goal, right? It also, when we're doing scripts, we also need to learn how to mirror and match. And so when we mirror and match their voice and their tonality, it makes them feel more at ease and comfortable with us. And I'm talking more about with someone you don't know versus someone you know. If you are calling someone you know, you're going to already have rapport with them. But if you're talking to someone you don't know, you've got to get them to be comfortable enough to talk with you about one of their biggest assets, right? So when we mirror and match someone's personality, what we're doing, or their tonality, if they talk really fast and they're kind of aggressive, then you talk a little bit fast and aggressive back to them. You don't have to be rude. You're just matching their personality, right? And if they are someone that moves slower and talks slower, then you want to slow down a little bit. Because someone that has a personality that is a little bit slower, if you roll right over them with your language, they don't trust you anymore. There's something about the DISC personalities. We'll talk about that in a minute if somebody will remind me, that will tell you a little bit about what kind of personality they are. One of the other things is, think about an athlete. They practice an hour or more. They practice 50 to 60 hours a week for a 1 hour game. Your listing presentation is your game. So you've got to practice ahead of time so you're not practicing on the client. Does that make sense? 93% of conversation is body language and tonality. So if only 7% are the words that you say, how important are those words? That's why you have a script to go by, okay? So we're gonna talk about scripts, and here's what I want you to do. A couple of pages over, you've got a script that is turned landscape-wise, and so you're going to practice the script. The very first paragraph says you're new to real estate, or new to Keller Williams is the one underneath that. Or maybe there's one on the next page which just reminds them in real estate for some of you that have been in a little bit longer. So again, the first paragraph is on the left-hand side and the rest of the script is on the right-hand side. And I do want you to practice this, but I want to give you a different script to think about in the beginning that will then roll into this script, okay? How many of you have heard of Ford? The Ford script. So Ford is, guys, I'm sorry if you're online, did I lose you on the screen?
No, we can still see you.
No, I'm good. I can still see you.
Okay, well, the TV was freaking out up here, so I thought I had lost everybody.
Yeah, we can see you.
So I'm going to be writing this on the board, but I'm going to be saying it out loud. So if I'm not loud enough, just let me know. So F in Ford stands for family. O is for occupation. R is for recreation. And D is for dreams or goals. So it could be Frog or Ford. So this is the acronym that you would start your script with, ideally. I think this is more relational, and all of the scripts in Keller Williams are switching to where you have this Ford conversation in there. So I'm going to give you an example. I talk to my girlfriend every night. She lives in Oklahoma. I live here. We do happy hour just on the phone together and have a glass of wine or something and just catch up. I've been friends with her for 40 years, I think. Anyway, when I call and talk to her, who do I talk to her about? How's Kevin? How are the girls? What are they up to? Right? That's family. I'm asking about their family. I might say, how was work today? Or was work better today? Did you have to do that meeting again? She's a teacher. And so I'm asking, how are your students? How's little Johnny that was having trouble last week that you were telling me about? I'm asking about occupation. Recreation. Hey, you told me you all were going to go to XYZ last week. How did that turn out? Dreams or goals. You also said something about going to Mexico this next year. Have you set a date yet? Are we still going to all go together, or have you all decided you're just going to go by yourselves? Right? I am asking, that's a natural conversation with my girlfriend. I'm not walking through this in order necessarily, but I've asked her about all those things while we're talking probably. How is Kevin's day at work? Is he still having problems with his boss? Did they work out those kinks at whatever? So this is a natural conversation to have with somebody, right? And you don't have to do any of these in order. You don't have to, I'm not going to go, okay, I asked you about family, check. I'm going to talk to you about your job now. Are you ready? I'm not doing that. I'm just having a natural conversation, and she's asking me these same things back. Kevin was good. How about Joe? How's he today? Is he feeling better? How's his new job going? We're just having a normal conversation. And again, you don't have to hit every one of these. Maybe you only hit 2 of them. Whatever is natural in your dialogue with the person that you know. But then you could go right in to this script, especially if you're letting them know you're in real estate. Hey, so this has, hey, this is Sarah, do you have a moment? I've already done this when I've done my, how's Kevin, how are the girls, blah, blah, blah. Hey, I just wanted to touch base with you about one thing about my job when you were asking me about it. I'm new to Keller Williams, and I'm new to real estate, and you're somebody I knew would help me grow my business. It says that right here. With this partnership, I have all their knowledge working for me. Plus, I'm going to take care of my clients, and I'm going to do hard work. And I thought about sharing this with you because I knew you would be someone to help me grow my business. I wanted to share my real estate app with you. I know that sometimes when you're out on the beach, you just want to know what that condo is going for, or there's a new sign in your neighborhood. I'd love to share that app. You can look at it anywhere in North America, and it's a free app. Does that sound good to you? I'm totally paraphrasing this. I just wanted to ask too, who do you know from your work or in your neighborhood that's thinking about selling, buying, or investing in real estate right now? She's going to say, well, you know, talk to so-and-so, or I don't know anyone right now. I'm just going to say thanks. I appreciate you taking a moment to think about it. I do have some interesting information about the local market that I send out from time to time. I'd really like to include you on that list. I promise not to blow up your email. Can I put you on there? Great. What's your home address? And your email, right? And do me a favor. After you try out my app, would you just give me a call? Let me know how you liked it. And if you do hear of someone that has a need for real estate and has any questions, would you mind just contacting me, and I'll get in touch with them and make sure they're taken care of. Thank you for your time and help, blah, blah, bye, right? So I want you to read the script and internalize it so that you know. I'm not going to read it word for word once I have it internalized. But if I already have it internalized, I know where to go next in the script. I've already had the Ford conversation. Now I'm going to remind her that I'm new to Keller Williams and new to real estate, and I want her to help me grow my business. And I want to share my app with her. And does she know anyone right now at work or in her neighborhood? And then do me a favor and keep me in mind. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. So the Ford script method seems really personalized for like people that you know.
Yes.
And then the script seems a little more commercial.
Yes.
So my question is, what do you suggest? Like, what do you truly suggest when meeting somebody new, like meeting a stranger, meeting a potential new client?
If I am meeting somebody brand new that I've never met before, I'm probably not going to do this whole Ford script, right? But I am going to say, you know, they've asked me, how's the market? Maybe that's how the conversation starts. And they say, hey, how's the market right now? People ask you that all the time if you're wearing your name tag. And all you have to do, instead of saying, the market's great, which is what everybody says, instead, I would say, what market are you interested in? Are you interested in the investor market, first-time home buyer? What about move up from your neighborhood, maybe the luxury market, maybe just your neighborhood only? All of those markets can be different, so I'd love to share my app with you so that you can watch the market in your neighborhood. And I'd also love to go back. I can set you up on a neighborhood nurture, and you can even pick the neighborhoods around yours to look at, and I will get that to you. So I'm getting there, going to be able to get their information. That's the whole point of the dialogue, is to get their information. And then if they are interested, set the appointment. And if they're not interested, do they know someone you don't know? Right? Because let's think about this. Pete, who's your favorite performer, musical performer? Okay, Michael Jackson. So if Michael Jackson, let's pretend he's alive, and he has agreed to come and do a concert, and you have the biggest venue that will fit as many people as you want. You have an unlimited food and drinks resources free of charge to you. He's coming to perform for free. How many people are you inviting that you know to this party? How many? How many? 1,500 people, okay? Now, all of those 1,500 people can invite everybody they know and want to come with them. And all of those people can invite everyone they know. Can you see the exponential growth that's happening here? Same thing with real estate. He may not be ready to sell or buy right now. I need to know who he knows that I don't, that I would invite to that party, that he would invite to that party. And then he needs to know whose friends they would invite. Because right now, he doesn't know those people, but if he gets to know them at that party, what's the potential for business in the future? So anytime I'm talking to somebody, I want to know the other people they know that I could maybe help in their neighborhood, at work. Use something different. If they don't work, but they are a big part of the PTA, Who do you know in your PTA or in your neighborhood? Who do you know in your family or in your neighborhood? Who do you know in your sports team or in your neighborhood? Whatever you know they're heavily involved in, it's the neighborhood and that group that you're going to ask about. Because I need to get to know those people that I could potentially help that I don't know yet. Does that make sense? Okay.
So like in classes at school, I was on one of the instructors, they told us to basically like, to always be knowledgeable about the business, but never really mention that you are a realtor until someone asks you. Do you think that that's a good approach?
I do not think that's a good approach. I want to tell everyone. I don't want to be a secret agent. I want everyone to know. Otherwise, you're going to come home and your neighbor next door is going to have a sign in their yard because you never told them because they didn't bring it up. They may not have remembered that you were in real estate.
Wave your flag proud.
Yes, absolutely. You don't need a business card. You don't need anything else. You need your physical body and your mouth talking to people, building relationships, and offering to help them with whatever they need. And guess what? I'm sorry, I keep using you because you're just right here, Heath. You know, guess what? Heath may not even know anyone that's ready to do anything, and he's not ready to do anything. But how can I be of service and help him? So Heath, I know you're not looking to do anything right now. I just wanted to offer, I know it's time to protest taxes. Are you planning to protest your taxes? If you are, I'd love to run some comps for you and help you out with that. And if you need a form, let me know. Also, you may not be ready for that. You told me, you know, with your job, things are a little bit different. And I don't want to get in your personal business, but I know for everything during this pandemic, things have changed. And some people may need to sell their home. And I'd love to help anyone that you run across that may need that. Also, even if they don't need to sell their home, they may be looking to cut expenses because maybe they were furloughed, maybe they were laid off completely. Interest rates are still great. I have a great program with Keller Mortgage that can get you a 0+ loan where you actually waive some closing costs and you get $1,000 credit towards your closing costs. And it's generally going to save you around $4,000 to $5,000. Also, if you're looking to cut your insurance, Keller Covered has great rates on insurance. I'd love to connect you with the right person, right? I want to be their source. Heath, you may not need any of those things, but just know, because I'm your real estate consultant going forward, anything you need, if you need an electrician or a plumber or a yard guy, I have all kinds of vendors in my pocket that I can refer you to. So if you ever have anything that you need in regards to your house or even the community surrounding your house, give me a call. Let me be the source for you, right? Because if I go to people out of contribution towards them and their life, it's going to cause a reciprocity ring where they want to reciprocate that and send me things. Everybody that owns a business in your database right now should be your focus too. Maybe they've had to be closed for the last few weeks. Maybe they work for a business that was closed. How can I support you in your business? I would love to come and meet with you at your business. I'd love to do a video and interview you about why you chose this business, what's special about your business, what you're passionate about in your business, why you chose this location. And I would love to make that video and put it on your Facebook page and mine to promote your business. And I'd love to build an insight around it in Command so that in our consumer app, when people are searching that area, your business is going to pop up with an insight. And I do all of that for free. Would that be good for me to come by and visit with you? Let's say they're not a business in your database. Could you just go out to a business in your community and do that? Think about how much people need our support right now for their business, right? What if you went and did a video and you posted it on their Facebook? I have a girl that I coach, and she had this idea that she was going to go to all these small businesses. It's in a little town square, and one of them has an old-fashioned candy shop. And I said, I would not go and do a video outside the store talking about it. I would go in and talk to that owner, ask him why old-fashioned candy? What's his favorite old-fashioned candy? What's the one that sells the most? What made him decide to do this? What made him pick this location, right? Think of all the ways you can support somebody else, and they're going to want to then support you in your business. Does that make sense?
I have a question.
How do you, yes.
So what do you do in a situation like yesterday? I came across a person at a birthday party, and I was kind of telling everybody that I was a realtor now. And she's like, oh, I wish I'd have known. She goes, I'm working with a realtor. I'm really not happy with her. She's not sending us houses like we asked. She's sending them in areas that we really didn't ask to even look at. So how do you?
Well, that's tough in the sense that you cannot go what we call it going behind the sign. You know, your realtor ethics say that you cannot try to solicit her business while she has a signed agreement with another agent. Mm-hmm. What you can do is say, gosh, I hate that it's not been great so far. Have you communicated that to your realtor that this is what you need?
Right.
And she said she's communicated to it. The only thing that you can do is say, I'm happy to share my app with you so that you can point out the properties to her that you want to see. And if any time in the future you are not under a written agreement with another agent, I am happy to work with you.
Okay, great.
Because you're not telling her to, you can't torturously interfere with that other contract, but what you can do is just say, if you find that you are no longer working with another agent, then you are welcome to call me. You cannot call her, she can call you.
Right, okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I know a client and people yesterday in an open house, and they said they already, it's not like a women with the red pin, but they have some talking and email, and she's like, I'm not happy with them, but they don't really help me. I was like, well, but you already have an agent.
Well, what I would ask her is if she has a written agreement with that agent. And if she says no, then I would say, then you have to choose whether you want to work with me or if you want to continue to work with them. Because she does not have a written agreement, that is different. If she has a written agreement, you do not go there.
She said no, because everything was online.
Yeah. So all you do is say, if you want to work with me, here's the buyer rep agreement. You get her to sign it, and now she has a written agreement with you, and she needs to communicate that to the other agent.
Those Redfin guys, they'll DocuSign you into an agreement real fast.
Yeah.
They do everything.
It might be online, but there's definitely an agreement.
But it depends. Yeah, I would have her look through all of her emails and ask her if she's done any signatures through DocuSign for anything. Okay, if she hasn't, then you're good. All right.
Everything was there, but then well, it's not the real estate agent, it's something else. She said the lady doesn't really help me. She never have a time. Did you talk to them? I already tell them, so I don't want to deal with them. But you have to email them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we need to save time to make our phone calls. And so I want you to turn around and practice the script with somebody next to you. You're going to read the first paragraph over here and the last paragraph here. You can start it off with forward before you lead into this conversation. Or you can just practice this, because we are going to make phone calls right after we practice for 10 minutes. Okay? So if you're at home, you can go to the page with the script on it. And practice that by yourself. If you want to mute yourself and read it out loud, you can record it on your phone so you can hear it and read it back to yourself. You can call somebody and say, I just need to practice the script with you. If Amanda and Danielle or Devlin wanted to call each other, if you have each other's number, or call your own voicemail and leave it as a voicemail, however you want to do it, I just need you to practice it real quick. So as fast as you can, get with a partner. You three can get together. Just one of you read it to the other, and then the next one. And this is a dialogue, right? We're not reading straight through the script. When I say, hey, this is Sarah O'Cana, you're going to say, hi, Sarah, how are you? Right? It's a dialogue back and forth. Okay?
In which paragraphs do you want us to go through? Just,
The paragraph on the left is the first paragraph, and then the rest of the script is on the right. And so for you, Heath, you may not want to read this first paragraph. You may want to turn over to the other one that says, reminding them you're in real estate, because you've been in real estate for a while. So everybody, I'm going to put us on mute in this room just for a minute so that you don't have loud voices.
oh, go ahead.
And we're going to do this for 10 minutes.
Well, I guess that's-
Okay, we're gonna start back up then. How did it feel when you were reading the script?
Weird.
Weird. I know, it does just feel weird.
Yeah.
It does. It feels a little bit weird. But if we learn it, do you understand what you're really offering here? You're just offering to help them, asking it if they know anybody. You're offering to give your app to them, and that you would like to send them things from time to time about the real estate market. You know, what is one item that you might send? Something about the tax protest, and that you're there to help if they need it. Something about Keller Mortgage, something about Keller Covered for insurance. Something about maybe it's statistics on something going on downtown Fort Worth, right? This is an old one, but we were number 3 in the nation, or number 10 in the nation of green cities, people that were green, right? Maybe it's information on a certain neighborhood. Maybe it's information on interest rates. Maybe it's information about something specific to their neighborhood or their market, right? There's all kinds of things that you can come up with, items of value. There's things in Texas Association of Realtors. There's marketing materials in the National Association of Realtors. There is all kinds of marketing within Command that you can send out. There's things that you will get all the time from title companies. One of the things they sent out this at the beginning of last summer, not this summer, was things to do like summer camps for kids, and it had a whole list of summer camps for kids. Before spring break, it was things to do for free in Fort Worth during spring break. Title companies sent things like that. So there's lots of resources of things that you could send out to your people. So how comfortable are you going to be calling your people today and using this script? Okay, so in case you didn't hear that online, they're at work. Guess what?
They get off work.
You're at work. Do people on their job call you all day while you're at work?
Yes.
Yes, they do. You have a job. So here's the way you have to think about this, guys. If you are the CEO of your company, based on your actions in the last week in real estate, some of you haven't been in real estate that long, but let's say you were, would you hire yourself based on your results from this last week? Okay, if the answer was no, then you're not doing your job and you are the CEO. So retrain yourself if you're going to keep you. Otherwise, you're going to have to fire you and you're going to have to go find another job. So when we get into real estate, a lot of us we get in for freedom, right? Freedom of time and freedom from a boss and freedom from all of that. And we want the money, right? Guess what? We have to be disciplined long enough to build a business big enough to have that freedom to be able to do that. You have to put the work in first. And yes, you can put perimeters around it. So for instance, my first year in the business, I stopped working Sundays. And everybody thought I was crazy. They said, that's when everybody wants to go out is over the weekend. And I said, I don't care. Sunday is my day for church and family, and I am not going to compromise that at all. And I will let people know that I will make my schedule available to them at any other time, but Sundays I get to be with my family, right? We get a day off if we choose to have one. You run your schedule. You cannot call your barber or your hairstylist and say, I'll be there at 3 and hang up the phone, right? Because they have a schedule that they follow. You are a business. From the very beginning, if somebody calls you and says, I need you to list my house, can you be here at 2? If you say yes, now they have all control of your schedule. What you say is, I have this time or this time available, which works best for you. We have to set boundaries around our own schedule. Otherwise, you'll be up at 2 o'clock in the morning still looking at the MLS because it's new and it's fun. And because somebody said they might want something someday and you're already looking. Guess what? We can work ourselves to death in this business, or you can work with a time block calendar, work less hours, and do more business because you are focused on what you need to do in those hours. Does that make sense? All right, so we're going to make phone calls now because we are running out of time and want to make sure we get our calls in. So what our goal is in this call time is right now I want you to name 3 people in your phone without looking at your phone that you can call. I don't care if they're at work. I don't care what they're, that you know you can call them. Write down 3 people. If you are not licensed yet, you can call them and do the Ford script. Hey, I'm just checking in with you. By the way, I just wanted to tell you something. I'm so excited. I'm getting my real estate license, and I would love for you to be thinking about anyone that you know that I can help once my license is in. Okay, you cannot do the rest of that script where you're promising them all this stuff and asking about a buyer or seller right now. But you can say, I'm gonna have my license in the next week or 2. Can you start thinking about some people for me? Or do you know someone right now that I will be able to call the minute my license is here? Okay? All right, so 3 people, write 3 people down. Actually, write more than that down because the goal is to talk to 3 people in 15 minutes. Okay?
And they, like, cause, like, I moved here, so like, all the people I know don't live in Texas.
You don't know anyone in Texas.
Well, like, I know contractors that I've met.
Okay, could you call them?
Yeah.
Say, I'd love to come talk to you about your business. I'd love to know if any of the people you're working with right now are going to be turning around and selling this. Can you connect me with that person so I can give them a call?
You're kidding about practicing the script.
I'm not kidding. We're going to make calls right now. So, and we are going to report numbers at the end of this. So I need you to get on the phone. I need you to talk to people and use the script. And if you are, okay, here's the deal. Has anyone ever heard of Eat That Frog? It's a book. Okay, if you had to eat a frog right now, what would you do? Just do it. Absolutely. You got to eat the frog right now, get it over with, because nothing else bad can happen after that, worse than that, right? If you have to eat 2 frogs, you're going to eat the biggest, hairiest, fattest one first, because nothing else worse could happen after that, right? You just have to do it. And I promise you, I've been teaching Ignite for 8 years. I was teaching before I was coaching, so about 7 or 8 years. I have never lost anyone in this class. No one has died from this exercise. I am promising you, you're not going to die. So we're just going to do it. So I want you to get on the phone right now. We're going to call for the next 15 minutes, about 13 now, because we've got to be done at 11:45. So right now, start making your calls. Stay in this room, make your calls. If you're at home, make your calls. Next, we're going to stop at 11:45.
So from, Ms. Sarah, from my story with the contract is, because that's very different from the one where is it in this book?
I would just do it when I said, just say, hey, I'm doing real estate now. I don't know if you're doing that. I'd love to come out, see what you're working on. See if there's anything that, you know, if you're thinking about this home.
He does foundation.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. I'd like to share the exciting news that I have been on the state agent with so I share all of the knowledge for my clients get all and also I thought about sharing this with you because I knew you were First, I'd like to share my real estate app with you. You can see what's going on. It's just they can in place in North America. It's free. There's no cost to you. I can send you a text or you can link to it. Does that sound good to you?
That's my clients get all my.
Oh, great. And I'd like to ask who might know some word belong to this buying or selling a home or
I'd like to share
anyone that you can think of right now?
Can you see?
Thanks for taking a moment to think
You
about
can
it.
see what's going on.
I have a wealth of interesting and timely information about the real estate market in your area, and I'd love to
There's
send
no
it
cost
to
to
you.
you.
Let me just make sure I have your current email
So you
address.
can
Is it KenGreen?
Does that sound good? And I'd like to ask.
And do me a favor, or if you do hear of someone with a real estate need,
Or
you
who's
keep me in
interested
mind.
in buying or selling a home or investing in real estate.
And after you download the app, try it out and
Hello?
send me a text and let me know how you like it. All right, thanks for your time and help. Please let me know if there's anything I can ever do for you.
Interesting and timely
Great.
information
All right, I'll talk to you later.
about the real estate market in your area, and I'd like to send it to you. Make sure I have your current email address. How much? And do me a favor,
I don't know.
if you do hear someone with a
let me
real
text
estate need, will you keep me in mind?
Okay, I'll text you.
And after you download that app, you try it out, you just send me a text and let me know how you like it.
Okay.
And thank you for your time and help. Please let me know if there's anything that I can do to ever help you. Thanks so much. All right, thanks. Bye.
Decirte que te voy a compartir mi app para que cuando tú tengas tiempo, en cualquier momento puedas ver si te interesa ahorita o algo. Seguimos en eso, ¿ok? Pero no te preocupes. Todo esto va a pasar.
Hey, Roxy, this is Ivania. Ivania? Ida, Lucy, how are you? Bien, ¿y tú? Are you busy?
¿Y qué piensas? ¿Qué pensarías hacer?
No, I was just calling because I wanted to let you know that I did finally get my license for salon realtor now, and I was wondering if you know anybody that was wanting to sell their home and buy
Pues también sería bueno porque estarías a gusto también si estás con alguien que te puede echar la mano, cuidar un poquito. Y si no, también te podrías quedar igual. Nada más que, pues, sería un poquito
well, like I
diferente.
said, I mean, I just I
Eso es
have
lo principal.
everybody to help me on the coaches, so I have like.
Hello, this is
If I don't know
Andrea. Do
something,
you
I'll
have a moment?
definitely be able to help. But, yeah, we have this app as well that you can download and.
Hey, Brad, how are you doing?
And then.
Are you busy?
Cualquier cosita que se te atore o algo, me
Oh, okay,
You
well, I was
don't
wondering
wanna
why
get
it's
your
not
information,
coming out.
if you get it
About-
but the.
Okay, well, it's been a while, and I'd like to apologize for not staying in touch.
You won't
I've
get
been busy growing my real estate business and working with great clients like you. I wanted to share with you that I have a personal goal to help 30 families get into the home of their dreams this year. I'm
Instead of you, if you need, if you're interested or, you know, somebody that's interested in.
And as you already know, I'm very dedicated to help people. I would like to share my real estate app with you. You can see what's going on anywhere from your street to any place in North America at no cost. How does that sound?
Yeah, you can say your number.
Okay, well, I have a wealth of interesting and timely information about real estate in your area, and I'd love to send it to you. I can send you a text where you can link to it. And also, I'd like to make sure that I have your current email address.
Great, I'd like to share the exciting news that I have become a real.
Okay.
Got 5 minutes.
All right. Okay. Do you know anyone in your area other than yourself that has a real estate need?
Plus, my client gets on with enthusiasm and hard work.
Okay, well, if you do.
So I thought about sharing this with
Will
you
you
because
keep
I
in
want
mind?
to be someone that'll help me grow my business.
All right, great. So I'll go over and text
First, I'd
over.
like to share
Yeah,
my real estate
I'll go
app.
ahead and text over that
See
app
what's going
to
on
you.
anywhere.
You can download it and try it out. And send me a text and let me know how you like it.
And I can send you a text so you can.
All right, well, thank you for your time and help. Please let me know if I can do anything
So I'd
else
like to
for
ask,
you.
who might you know from work or maybe
All right.
or a group they belong to who's interested in buying or selling a home or investing in real estate? Is there anyone that you can think of right now? Thank you for taking a moment to think about
I mean,
that. I have a wealth of interesting and timely information about the real estate market in your area. And I'd love to send it to you. Let me just make sure I have your and do me a favor, if there's,
If we have time, I'll show you how to do
Oh, 'cause we need
it.
to activate it.
and after you download the app and try it out, send me a text and let me know how you
Sí,
thank you. And thank you for your time and help. And please let me know if
There's a class today, 1-3 about the tech class.
Same
Yeah, I'm doing that one.
Same here. Sarah, I downloaded that form on our last break, not sure if you got it. I will pay for it now, just next to my signature. I don't know if that's okay for you. Looks like we may have some credit challenges, so, the talker. So, my neighbor, I was. So we went through this weekend, my neighbor sent his $2 over.
Yeah, and I mean.
And it's so anyways, just learning how to work the buyer contract.
Yeah, definitely go like,
So,
can we in mind? If you ever.
Yes,
Glad to have it, but
absolutely.
it's like, I don't know what to do with them now.
We'll get you started.
Perfect.
2 minutes. So if you are not on a call, I would not call a new one.
Pero eso estaría bien como para unos 100,000.
So you mentioned as opposed to buyers, of course, all businesses.
Yes.
Pero, I mean, if I did it well,
Hi, Jeremy, this is Shemaya. I like to share the exciting news that I have become Thank you. With this partnership, I have almost now consultation plus my clients get on also enthusiastic and hard work. So I thought about sharing this with you. I'm letting you someone help me grow my business. So first, I'd like to share my real estate app with you. You can see what's going on anywhere from your screen to any place in North America. It's free. There's no cost to you. I can send you a link, so that you can, I'm sorry, I can text you.
So technically, I could have set them up.
Yes, I'm good.
That's okay.
Great. And I'd like to ask, who might be known for work or your neighborhood. Interested interested in buying or selling a home or investing in real estate, you guys are in.
Okay, so we're wrapping up our call. Is it cold in here?
No, no.
Oh.
It's, sure.
Well, I do appreciate your taking a moment to think about that. I have a wealth of interesting and finding information about real estate market, about the real estate market in your area, and I love it.
I have people that are.
So let me just make sure I have your current email
Million,
address.
2 million. Like, so we have all different levels. So
What's
if
your
you
email address?
have been in it a while, you may want to come into one of those that kind of get you to that.
Perfect. And do me a favor, please. If
And
you
even if
hear
over
anyone
you decide that's not where you can send
interested
it,
in real estate or real estate,
just work
it's
specifically
keeping in
on
mind.
things you want.
Thank you. And after you download the app and try it out, you can send me.
The committees, are those just like groups, or are they just like for instance, like the luxury committee? Is it like a training thing, or is it more just both? Okay, so like.
So they do usually the committee meeting in a luxury home. And one of the luxury agents leads that group. And so they'll come in and they'll talk about what is the luxury market doing, where buyers come from, whether the, or even connecting you. If you've got a buyer and they know where the listings are for that, or one that's coming soon, it's already in the market again. But they are really good at talking about the luxury market, how to get into it. And then once you're in there, just keeping you updated on what's going on, because they go to, they're like, the Christians lead that luxury committee. They are part of the luxury committee for all of KW within the national office. So they even have the people like to refer to out of state and all of that. And they go to big summits every year for just luxury agents.
So the committee part is just more of like understanding that it's not necessarily becoming part of their group.
No, it's masterminding together as agents that are luxury agents or ones that want to get into the luxury.
An opportunity to work with them, maybe even do some free stuff in order to get the exit. Like gold news.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get back started here. How many people did you talk to? Hold it up, hold the number of fingers up on your hand. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How about you, Danielle? Amanda?
Sorry, I talked to 6.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome, Danielle. Amanda, did you get to talk to any?
I did not.
Okay, so there's 6, and I know we've got a couple outside the room on the phone. There's 16 contacts so far. Who got a lead, a potential lead? Someone that wants to talk to you about buying or selling a home. You got one buyer or seller? A buyer. Awesome. How many people did you talk to?
2.
And
one was like,
and
finally
any-
got your realtors, I want to buy a house. So I'm pretty happy.
so you got a buyer lead?
Yeah,
Okay, so that's 2 leads so far.
I had a referral lead to California.
That's awesome. Yeah, so you all that don't know about referrals, if you can work anywhere, right? I can't sell a house in Oklahoma, but I can refer it to an agent there and I can get mailbox money when it closes. So I do that all the time because I'm from Oklahoma. And so people know that I'm in real estate there and they'll say, hey, can you help me? Well, I can set you up with an agent there that I refer business to and make sure that you're taken care of and follow along through that agent with the process and make sure that you're taken care of. And then I'll get a 20 or 25% referral fee from sending that to an agent down there. Okay. All right. So we had 2 definite leads during almost not quite 15-minute time period. And what is our average commission?
3%.
What is our average commission? Now that's the percentage. 7,500
Oh, right.
is our average commission in the office. So what is the potential income we made with those 2? $15,000 in about 13 minutes of potential income. Now, what if you did this every day for your 2 hours or so? Lead generation. What could your potential income look like? Anything you want. That's absolutely right. Okay, So guys, I promised to get you out of here on time. We started a little bit later than I wanted to. So we always know that we cover as much of the Ignite material as we can in this time period, but depending on how much discussion or questions and things, sometimes we can't cover every little bit of it. So your job is, this is your manual. You go home and you cover everything we didn't cover in class. I hit the high points of all this. It talks about from here, you're going to write them a handwritten note, right? Those people that you talk to, you're going to put them in your database. And we're going to make an action plan every day. What's your action plan? What do you need to prioritize? It talks about that in here. Knowing the difference between what's urgent and what's important. This may be important to be done, but it's not urgent. I just need to get it done sometime, but I don't have to do it right now, right? Living by your calendar. We talked about this earlier where I said I quit working on Sundays. I just time blocked it out. That was my day off. And when somebody said, can you go show me a home on Sunday? I don't have to tell them all my business, right? The only thing I need to say is, gosh, I'm already booked on Sunday, but can I have this time or this time available instead? Because I do have an appointment. I have an appointment with my family, and it's non-negotiable. But I don't have to tell them that's my appointment. I just say, I'm already booked with appointments on that day, but I have this time or this time available instead. On Tuesday at 2 and Thursday at 4. And if they can't make either one of those times, then I can say, what about Wednesday at 3? You know, whatever time I have. Yes, ma'am.
Where's the calendar that we were looking for?
It wasn't included.
It's not included in there, but Monday, Wednesday, all the calendar says is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are Ignite days from 9 to 12, and Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, you're doing your missions. In here, you do have a sample schedule of while you're in Ignite and one post-Ignite to kind of show you what your daily calendar might look like. Again, it's your business. You get to set it. And in my book, right after that, it does have the Ignite schedule. Is yours? Right after those 2 daily schedules?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Okay. Okay. So again, who's going to hold you accountable? You need to find a peer partner in this classroom, and you need to ask each other, how's your lead generation going? Have you done your script practice today? Script practice every day with your partner. You don't have to be physically in this class together to script practice, right? You can call them on the phone, and you don't have to call and say, hey, it's time to script practice. Let's read this script. What if you just called them and you threw out an objection? Once we get into objection handling, when we're talking with buyers and sellers and we're going through those scripts, what's an objection you might get from a seller? Well, the other realtor said they do it for 4.5%. Are you willing to do that? Do you know what your answer is? You got to be able to come back like that. The minute you hesitate, you lose, right? What's the best answer when they say, are you willing to do it at 4.5%? The other realtor said they would.
I just need my broker's information.
My answer would be,
What is the
no.
other broker?
It would be a laugh and no. No, I don't do that. Do you want me to explain why I wouldn't do that? That's what I would say next. Because most realtors are worried about their own paycheck and not yours. I know the value I bring to you, right? I'm going to talk to them about what I am going to do for them. I'm going to explain to them how I get paid. Do you even understand how we get paid? You know, we've got to pay Uncle Sam. We've got to pay our broker. So that's about 2% of it. The other 3% is for me to get paid, but it's also my marketing budget and all my expenses to get your home listed. The photography that I provide, the lockbox, the sign. So if I were to cut any of that out, the only place I could see to cut out would be the marketing, and you do want your home to be marketed, correct? Well, I'd hate for you to get with an agent that's going to cut out the marketing budget. Right? You choose. Do you want somebody that, here's another one for that. Well, goodness, if I can't stand up for my own commission, what makes you think I could fight for the price for your home?
Yeah. That's even better.
Yeah. And so there are all of these objection handlers. So when you have a script partner, You can just call them and throw the objection out, and then you gotta handle it. And instead of calling and saying, let's do this script now, let's just roll right into it. What's another script? I mean, what's another objection that you might get? There are all kinds of them, but they're basically, you know, pricing too high, commission.
Oh, I'll do what finally was, what my colleague says all the time, all you're paying for realtors have access to MLS.
Gosh, you're right. For a lot of discount brokers, that is all they offer. They do what we actually call the 3 Ps. They put the sign in the yard, they put it in the MLS, and they pray. I'm also going to market watch daily, and I am going to every day lead generate for buyers for your home. Is that other realtor going to do that? Right. So find who's going to hold you accountable, and besides your peer partner in here, come to coaching orientation. When it's on the Google Calendar, you'll see it. If you don't want to wait that long, I don't think it's this week, I think it's the following week, then you just kind of see myself or Jean right next door in this office, and we will break it down for you and get you signed up. Okay, so on page 65 is your homework. So this is your daily 10-4, along with taking your big why statement and getting it kind of drilled down and finalized and written out in a couple of lines. Creating a time block calendar, which you have a couple of samples of in here. So make sure you do all of those and complete your missions before you come back to class on Wednesday. At 1 o'clock, don't forget you've got your tech class. That's where you're going to learn a little bit about command. You're also going to learn, probably going to download your app in there. Tech today at 1 o'clock. Every Monday from 1 to 3, we have tech classes, and you should come to them more than once. They build on each other, but you can come back to them month after month after month until you actually understand and know how to run your technology, because it's a big piece of your business. Same thing with contracts class, guys. You need to go to contracts class until you know the contract well enough to read it upside down across the table and be able to say in paragraph 12, this talks about seller concessions, right? I know the number of the paragraph and what it has, and I know the contract well enough that I have a 1 to 2 line script for each paragraph. So instead of reading the whole thing to the client across from me, or however you're doing it, I can actually just say, you know, paragraph 1 talks about the parties to the contract. Paragraph 2 talks about the legal description here. Paragraph 3 has the sales price and the down payment. You go over that. Paragraph 4 says whether you're a licensed agent, right? So I know exactly what's in each paragraph, and I have a 1 to 2 line description when I'm going through that with my client. And then if they need more information besides that 1 to 2 lines, then you can stop and explain it further. All right. Is it time, or do we have time for questions? We've got 3 minutes, so does anyone have any questions?
Not yet.
Okay, well, you will, and when you do, the answer is call Jean or call myself. You can get a card off of our desk in the suite in there. And if you can't reach one of us, call any of the staff members. Guys, there is no reason you cannot be successful in this business. And a lot of people that aren't, it's because they didn't raise their hand when they have a question, or they didn't come find somebody and ask. We have several people on staff that are licensed, and even if they are not, they know who to point you to for everything that you need. So we are here to support you in your business. We want you to be successful, and we are here to help. And when I say that, I mean Jean and I take calls on Friday night and Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon. We work when you work. And so we are here to help you. And we want to be your help. So, all right, guys online, thanks for hanging out with us, and we will talk to you later. Don't forget, at 1 o'clock is the tech class, and hope you can be there. And otherwise, be here Wednesday at 9 o'clock, either in person or on Zoom for the next class.
Thank you.
Talk to you guys later.